Hey, my name is Joe Poliak, San Francisco Bay Area real estate agent with Rise Homes, and I make videos like this for people like you who might be thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or just curious about what's happening in our local market. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a San Francisco real estate market update where we're going to review the data for February 2024, compare it to the data of February 2023, and see what's changed year over year. And please do me a favor and support this channel by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button on this video wherever you're watching it. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment with your feedback or any questions, and I would love to answer you personally with any questions you might have. Okay, let's jump right into it. We're gonna start with single family data. So the number of new listings that hit the market in February 2023 was 173 homes. And in February 2024, that number was 222 homes. So that's an increase of 28.3% year over year. The number of pending sales last year was 126, and that number was 166 this year. So that's an increase of 31.7% year over year. The number of sold listings last year was 101, and this year that number is 137. So that's an increase of 35.6% year over year. Last year, the median sales price was $1,440,000. This year, that number is $1,580,000. So that's an increase of 9.7% year over year. Average sales price last year was $1,823,000, and this year that number is $2,041,000. So that's an increase of 12% year over year. And the total days on market last year was 33. That number this year was 35. So that's an increase of 6.1% year over year. The number of active listings last year was 284, and that number this year is 244. So that's a decrease of 14.1% year over year. The percentage of properties that sold over their list price last year was 51.5%, and this year that number was 63.5%. And on average, last year homes sold for 3.7% over their asking price, and this year homes are selling for 8% over their asking price. And lastly, last year months of inventory was 1.5. This year, that number is also 1.5. All in all, for single family homes, obviously we saw this month compared to last year, February, we saw significant increases in the amount of homes for sale. So supply went up significantly. But obviously what we are seeing, and at an even higher percentage, is people buying homes. So inventory levels were already very, very low last year, and they've now increased this year, but that demand was so much pent-up demand just scooped up all these homes. And what I'm seeing right now in the field is homes are getting scooped up with multiple offers. Again, we are back to seeing 5 to 10 to 15 offers on some homes. And now with median sales prices increasing and average sales pricing increasing almost at around the double digit mark, 10%, around 10% for both of those, we are seeing that this pent-up demand and even in the increase in supply is translating into higher prices. And so homes selling for on average higher over their asking price than they did last year. Just all in all across the board, we are seeing the market is much hotter than it was last year. And it's continuing to heat up even though interest rates are pretty much around the same as they were around the same time last year. And being at 1.5 months supply of inventory shows that we are still in a very hot seller's market. Okay, let's move on to condos, TICs, and co-ops. Last year, February, we had 313 new listings. This year, we had 370. So that's an increase of 18.2% year over year. Last year, there was 175 pending sales. This year, that number was 234. So an increase of 33.7% year over year. Last year, there was 142 sold listings. This year, there was 179. So that's an increase of 26.1% year over year. The median sales price last year was $1,162,000. This year, that number is $1,104,000. So a decrease of 5% year over year. And last year, the average sales price was $1,296,000. This year, that number is $1,332,000. So that's an increase of 2.8% year over year. Days on market last year was 59. This year, that number is 52. The number of active listings last year was 726, and this year that number is 659, so that's a decrease of 9.2% year over year. The percentage of properties sold over their list price last year was 28.2%. This year, that number is 34.8%. And last year, on average, condos, TICs, co-ops sold for 99% of their list price. This year, they're selling for 0.6% over their list price. So just a slight increase there. And lastly, months supply of inventory last year was 3.1. This year, that number is 3.5. Overall, we're seeing a very similar story in condos, TICs, co-ops. We are seeing increases in the amount of new listings that hit the market, but an even bigger increases in the number of sales. The actual supply went down year over year. But in addition to that, when we were coming out of the pandemic, we saw active inventory over 1,000. And that has been slowly eaten away over these last months. And I think a lot of that is because people have to come back to work and have to be in the office. So that $1 million condo with $800 a month HOA isn't as repelling as it was when you didn't have to come into the office. And now people have to come into the office, but also local businesses are starting slowly open back up. Downtown and Soma is starting to get a little bit safer and a little bit cleaned up. You know, you wouldn't know that by hearing it in the news, and some blocks are still very, very bad. But overall, it seems like a lot of the crime and homelessness and some of these other issues that San Francisco is facing is continuing to condense into smaller pockets. Different parts of like financial districts and South Beach and even some parts of Soma are not nearly as bad as they were just a couple of years ago. All of that compounds into higher levels of demand in this area and slowly eating up some of that extra supply that we've had for these last 3 or 4 years. Now, prices have kind of not moved that much. You see a slight decrease in median, a slight increase in average sales price. So it hasn't moved that much. We'll still see if does inventory levels keep increasing at this pace, or does it slow down or stall and demand continues to increase. That'll be what decides what happens to the condo market, which is mostly concentrated in the downtown financial district, North Beach, Soma, South Beach, and Mission, kind of that eastern, maybe even, eastern, southeastern side of San Francisco, with actually a little bit that northeastern side as well in the marina and those kind of pockets, whereas the western side of the city has a lot less condos, co-ops, TICs. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. And of course, if you have any questions or any feedback, please write something up for me in the comments. I respond personally to all of these myself. And of course, if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate somewhere here in the Bay Area, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to work with you. Thanks again.